Can you afford food, gas, and rent? Who cares, honestly? Here's Sony's PlayStation 5 Pro for only $700. Buy that instead.
Sony wants you to spend $700 on a new console, so obviously the internet is not happy. This is basically just a massive case of sticker shock of a product not making sense, and all of that in a world where everything seems to cost more, and frankly, people have lost quite a lot of trust in Sony. Now,
yeah. Also, the point of consoles initially when they first released was PCs are expensive. Here's a cheaper alternative that can play the same games and it's all good. And that was fine. But nowadays, consoles are going to the same level of price as some PC parts. And people are not happy with this, obviously. Console is supposed to be the affordable alternative to a PC if you want a game sometime. But with these price increases, no way, bro. No way.
Now, their ask is simple, but here's the crazy thing. Their ask actually came with an admission that honestly validates something that I've been thinking and pushing for years. Here it is. 75% of players use performance mode on the PS5. 75%. And again, that is with most games defaulting you to quality mode, or at least like giving you the option on boot.
I have no idea what's the difference between these two. I think this is slightly darker than this. There's a bit more shade here. Is performance just shading?
Usually with the selector defaulting to quality, and I think this is a really big admission. It means that 60 FPS matters, not just a bunch of people on the internet saying, 60 FPS is best, it's the
well, yeah, and 120 FPS is better than 60, and 200 FPS is better than the previous one. Yeah, more FPS matters.
Nutrition choice. Don't be wooed by pixels. No, this is consumers setting things on their console. And that means whenever Starfield or Avowed basically say, no, we want to do 30 FPS on launch, especially in a single-player game, well...
Okay, we all know that's complete bull, okay? The fact that Avowed is going to be 30 FPS, stupid, sad, and absolutely unacceptable, yes. But at the end of the day, as long as a game is good enough, people are going to play it. Again, look at the most recent example of this. Dragon's Dogma 2. I almost said Dragon Age Inquisition. Dragon's Dogma 2 had 10 FPS in cities. People still absolutely loved it. Sure, that sucked that cities had 10 FPS, but the game was fantastic, so you kind of just grit your teeth and take it. Because if a game is good enough, people will play no matter what the FPS.
We can basically say, hey guys, there's a reason why over in the PS5 we actually have public data as to what people choose, and it's frame rate. And the funny thing is, this is PlayStation almost saying that a large segment of their audience, I don't want to say disagrees with their marketing, but basically so much of their marketing has been about quality, ray tracing, look at the Spider-Man.
I honestly don't even think this is necessarily about FPS as much as it's about the fact that you never want the game to log or stutter or something visibly popping in at a distance. Those are the three big super negatives. If a game starts stuttering, I'm out. If a game starts lagging because of FPS issues, I'm out. If there's a lot of pop-in when I move around and I notice it constantly, I'm out. These are the three big ones.
And with his ray-traced reflection on the puddle and window. They do all of that. What do consumers choose? To turn that off and to have frames. And that actually does get relevant to Sony's pitch. Their pitch is that if you have a PS5, you probably use performance mode. They know you use performance mode, so they're trying to say, you can have the performance of performance mode and the quality of quality mode at the same time. And that's basically what the new console is going to do. Going through specs is simple. There's a beefier GPU with 67...
I'm pretty sure this is a lie, by the way, because yesterday I saw memes, people laughing about PlayStation 5, and people were doing the before and after comparisons. And yeah, you could notice that there's a difference in graphics, but if you removed before after, people would not know which picture is which because the difference is just non-existential.
7% more compute units and 28% faster memory. They say that brings a 45% performance uplift, though in so many cases with a quality mode, the thing that'll actually matter is not the overall performance, but what the bottleneck is. And so often that bottleneck, and you know if you've accidentally turned it on in a game you play, it's ray tracing. On that, you've got double to triple the ray tracing performance of the PS5, and they've got PSSR, which is basically just machine learning based upscaling. Some custom stuff that they've done with AMD.
Yeah, I have no idea which one is supposed to be better here. I just don't. I literally don't.
Which, to be honest, I would imagine would be quite good based on the quality of their upscaling stuff in the past. The thing we actually care about, though, is the games. So 8,500 PS4 games will get a frame rate or stability boost, and some will get better image quality, and the same basically will go for PS5 games. That's really good, but it could be a goddamn nightmare, especially as PC gamers, we're used to the idea of more horsepower just equals more frames. That's obviously not the case here, so as an example, if you went and bought, say, the Spyro remaster, you'll be disappointed to know that that's a 30 FPS lock. So, because of that, I'm pretty glad they're implementing a PS5 Pro enhanced sticker. Let's hope it actually gets used and communications are good. Let's blast through the rest of the specs though. It's got the same dimensions pretty much as the PS5, but an absolute game changer. 3 strips. Yeah, 3. So if you see someone with 3 strips in their PlayStation, you know they're a serious gamer. Anyway, Wi-Fi 7, compatibility with all PS5
just
accessories,
like
but not
Russian
covers.
Gopniks.
No disk drive, but a 2TB SSD, Astro's Playroom, and DualSense, and all of that for $699, £699, which is quite painful, or €799, which will absolutely suck.
Oh, wait. You're telling me it's even more expensive for me? No. 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 I have never owned a console, and I will never own a console. This is ridiculous. For $800, I can upgrade my 5 years old PC pretty decently at this point. And I already can run most things I play on pretty much almost ultra high settings.
In some countries specifically. But, right. What if you want to put it vertically? Well, the vertical stand will cost you $30. What if you want to play games that come in a disc? Which is probably loads of your games. Well, that's going to cost you another $80. And that means the complete feature set is $809. And like, yeah, you could totally skip in a disc drive, but if you do, you're locked into buying digital games only. And that means you lose out on the retailer, like, you know, price discounts and stuff. So you'll end up paying...
Let me just Google. Modern gaming PC cost 2024. Let's see. Gaming that's from my, because that's a thing. Okay. Gaming PCs offer a range of blah blah blah. Might cost around. No way, it's that cheap. How much does a gaming PC cost? PC, yes, so that's the right one. Okay, let's look at this. There is no way. Why are they? Oh, setting the middle range. It's 1.2K. In the middle range, it's 1.2K to 2K for a smooth gameplay at 1080p resolution and high settings for most modern games. So you're telling me I can get a PC that runs modern games at smooth gameplay mid-range, setup into the mid-range on decent graphics, probably not ultra everything, but that pretty much means you just need to turn off shadows and there you go. You can run everything at ultra except shadows because they suck. For 2K max, this is such a ripoff. Owning a console is a ripoff.
Way more money than the cost of the disk drive in the long run. And that's basically it, which means, yeah, this one's went down about as well as you would think. The easiest place to go is Jeff Keighley's poll, so it had 66% of its 86k voters say that this, in fact, was D tier. Very much unlike the shitposting, though. The shitposting has been top tier with this one. And no wonder. This is objectively expensive, even in the US.
The weird back memes are so insane because one of the very few things that's done right at nowadays is pretty much just generating hype for something that you know was good 20 years ago at this point.
Mass market and Sony's take on global exchange rates is interesting. I can't say I'm a
pitiful.
fan. Now, the fidelity increase will be noticeable, like in real life in a 4K TV. Do you know where it won't be noticeable? On a YouTube stream, which is where they show this off, and this is the exact same thing that happened with the PS4 Pro years back. You try to pixel peep, but basically it's pointless because of encoding. And it also doesn't help that the rest of the market's where it is. I mean, this is 2/3 of a reasonable gaming PC. When you're spending this amount of money, I think people are willing to say, you know what, maybe I skimp a little bit in the graphics card, but I just get myself a PC that
Bro, listen, Ellie's kneecaps are not gonna last in her 30s if she keeps doing this.
I can have for a decade, that I can upgrade and can actually go.
Okay, can we see? Oh wait, this is, by the way, that the image that I saw online yesterday. This is the one I'm specifically talking about. Wait, so this here, for example, this looks better. But Fidelity, I'm assuming, because it's a longer name, is supposed to be the better one? But it's pretty clear from this picture that I'm going to remove myself, that this one right here is more distinguishable than this one. This one seems so much more blurry. Also, the concrete here is different from the concrete there, I think. No, I'm not sure. In any case, this is bad.
Go the distance. Also, it's more than an OLED deck. It's more than a ROG Ally. So if you've got a PS4, I mean, you could just spend less money to get a different experience. And surely different experience is what counts, not just the same experience. That's the kicker for me. I get 60 FPS on performance mode on games right now. I lose some visuals, but that's basically fine. I'm playing this on a television from a distance. It's not like I'm on my PC where, like, yeah, I can't straight up pixel peep and see the detail differences. Yet that's their sell. Something that I won't always notice and basically don't care about. Now, the 9-minute trailer they did was fronted by the longtime tech wizard, Mark Cerny, and he's awesome. He has shipped amazing products. People like him, people respect him.
I don't know who
and
he
it
is.
focuses on how good the PS5 is. But it says, hey, imagine playing The Last of Us Part 2 PS5 edition with quality and performance at the same time. Let's not mention how people have already played that game twice, once in the PS4 and again in the PS5. Honestly, not a great sales pitch, fellas. And there's the release timing, November 7th. That does kind of make sense, but is there game support for that that's really going to show off the power of this console? And I say that because the only AAAs after that point are Assassin's Creed Shadows and Marvel Rivals. There's no big first-party title from Sony that basically says, hey, this is what a PS5 Pro can do. This is going to blow your mind. They don't have that unless they do some sort of shadow drop, right? There's nothing that pushes the limits here. There's nothing that gives you a new reason, because if you're a Sony fan, you already have a PS5. You've already played those first-party games, and you've probably played them at 60 FPS. Are you really going to play them again? Be excited to buy a new console to play them again at the same frame rate with a few more shinies? And that raises the question, who the hell is this thing for? Well, to talk about who this is for, we should probably mention the guy who's actually
Oh yeah, this makes so much sense now. It does.
at hands-on, and currently the only person is CNET Scott Stein. Here's the deal. He says that about 40 to 50 games will have an upgrade patch on launch, and these will target 4K 60, volumetric lighting, and new modes for 120 FPS. That could be interesting. And
Great. Now I need to learn what volumetric lighting is.
8K. Yes, 8K. Utterly useless. That's it, though. And basically, he said that when you actually just talk about the specs, talk about the features, he thinks it's going to be a really tough sell, though he does say that it's going to demo pretty well in person, which I'd say is not dissimilar to the PS4 Pro. It was a funny little thing. It accounted for 13% of PS4 sales and 15% of revenue. But here's the deal. Unlike the base PS4, the base PS5 can hit 60 FPS in most games. So, I don't know, like, to me, it's hard to logically justify. You could get a PS4 Pro and it would be basically still be giving you like 30 FPS, but it would often...
You know what's the best part, by the way, about all of this, honestly? It's the fact that there are so many people who are saying, oh, we have plateaued graphics, blah, 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 blah. Okay, if we have plateaued graphics, why can't we still reliably... It's been years since graphics have been as good as they are at this point, honestly. And we still can't just run everything smoothly. We still need upgrades and things like that. Explain that to me, because I don't understand.
And be like, well, way higher resolution, way better visuals, and just more stable. But what we learned from the PS5 is that people care about playability more. That's the bar that's actually been raised. And this is a new product that's not raising that bar. And so that means figuring out what their plan is even weirder. Here's another part, and this matters a lot. The base PS5 is not getting any cheaper. Back in the day, like, they would absolutely, like, bargain bin, slash the prices of consoles to pieces. And the whole reason was economies of scale, right? Like, GPUs were just getting made and made and made and made. There was the fab space, yada, yada, yada. That's actually not happened this time, though. One of Sony's executives said that much earlier this year, basically, that the unit economics on making a PS5 are too damn tight. And that means they cannot increase the size of their install base faster by just cutting their prices, because I suppose they don't want to just start burning revenue. And that pairs with something that's got...
This also goes against what people have been saying for all this time. Oh yeah, we're selling our consoles at a loss, but we know we're gonna make it up with games.
Goddamn brutal. 50% of the player base is on PS4. And to me, that's a shocker. I cannot imagine playing in a PS4 because, I mean, come on, 30 FPS, bad experience, but still, that is the case. Now, if the 50% who are on PS4s have somehow not been convinced by the PS5 itself, by the games that are only in the PS5, by the performance, or by the quality, then will the Pro do the same thing? I would say probably not. Yes, some people will cave, they'll leapfrog. This will finally be the time to upgrade, but that couldn't be their only target market. And so if they're basically realizing that right now they're doing this whole big premium play, they think that's been working for them, and seemingly PS4 people are not moving over, what can they do? Well, they need to appeal to the superfans, right? The people who actually bought a PS5 upgrade copy of The Last of Us Part 2. You see, these days, there's 3 letters that really matter, and those are ASP. Average sale price. Because why buy an iPhone 16 when you can buy an iPhone 16 Pro Max? And I bring that up for good reason. So often you see tech influencers...
No one gives a shit about what he just said, by the way.
Influencers basically say these new features are great, whatever, but honestly, buy the Pro from last year or just buy the base 16. You don't need those new features. And yet, it's the Pros that outsell. And so there's a trend in consumer electronics that the top end is just getting higher and more people are climbing up the price ladder. And that's why their whole pitch was basically, PS5 is awesome. You can have the best graphics ever, or you can have amazing frame rates. But now you can have both. And so I think they've got 2 safe bet audiences, but even with that, there's a high chance they could struggle. The problem with their 75% choose performance pitch is that 75% choose performance. They're already willing to say, actually, I'd rather do performance. I don't care about the quality as much. And the key sell about this machine is quality. It is saying you don't have to make the compromise, but that assumes it's a painful compromise. I do not think it...
Imagine looking at Aloy, the modern day vokified Aloy, at 120p. Imagine how great you would see her. All of that facial hair that a woman obviously needs to have.
It is, and I think that's why people are basically mocking the entire thing. The thing that's being sold to them is not something they really care about. So if not them, what about new audiences? Sony have even said before that with the PS4 Pro, they had loads of new customers. But today is not then. Console sales are already slowing, right? The growth is slowing. How many untapped customers are there out there? I don't think as many as they think. And that means we're left with 2 camps. Leapfroggers who are moving away from the PS4 to the PS5 and would rather just buy the thing that feels the most future-proofed. And then the superfans who'll lap up anything unless it's Concord. And that's the problem. The basics don't resonate, and it plays straight into the existing frustration that Sony basically say, we're the premium kings, and it feels like they take their position for granted. That being said, a word of caution, maybe there are things they know that we don't. Sometimes it only takes one game to make a massive shift in your hardware sales. As an example, the cheapest way to get EA Sports College Football was an Xbox Series S. And when that game came out and did absolutely amazing in sales, Series S spiked. Are you thinking what I'm thinking then? Grand Theft Auto 6. GTA 6 is potentially the largest entertainment release ever. It's one of those games that will sell 50 million copies. That seems like a completely insane thing to say, but no, it's GTA. It could sell 50 million.
Just 50? I mean, we're talking about GTA 6. If you had to vote between Trump, whatever her name was, and GTA 6, 99.9% people would vote GTA 6. Okay? Listen. Just 50 million people gonna buy GTA 6? My man. No. No. A billion. No. 5 billion. China, but double it. India, but install a toilet.
In copies. And GTA 6 is a game that will launch unlike GTA 5. Whenever GTA 5 came out, it was running on an Xbox 360. They had to do wizardry with the hard drive to make the assets stream. Here, it's going to strain a PS5. It will be a game that will take every single ounce of horsepower that you can throw at it. And unless anything changes, there won't be an Xbox Pro. And that means that the best place to play the biggest entertainment release of the decade will be the PS5 Pro. You might be thinking about PC, but remember, it's not coming out on PC until later. Plus, sometimes markets are just strange. I mean, most of us mock, say, the PS Portal, but it's actually ended up selling really, really well for Sony. And then there's the Apple thing. It may seem completely insane that people are just always buying the Pro Max phones when, really, they probably aren't using all of those features. But here's the thing. Say the new iPhone release. I looked at that and I thought, oh, the little camera control that they have that's
Bro, by the way, this is such a lying cope. There was this viral video about actually zooming onto the moon. Turns out it was AI. Yeah, turns out if you zoom to the moon, it just AI generates that shit. It's hilarious.
It's like physical hardware. Oh, that actually probably means I could capture some better shots of my dog when I'm home, or family, or things like that. And that gives me an emotional reason. And then there's the trend of ultra high-end products continually doing well. I mean, we've even seen that in the GPU market. That being said, I just don't know if the audience exists for this because of the specific sell. It just doesn't seem as compelling to me. But where I think this can make
who cares? Who cares? It's a console at the end of the day. Anyway, that was Belly. Bye.